Hello and welcome to a especially creepy episode of Sci-Fi-Night Top 5. So, clowns. They're supposed to make us laugh, but in horror movies, they're more likely to scare the shit out of us. So, that's why in this episode, we're going to be listing our top 5 favorite evil, creepy clowns from horror movies. So, let's face it, clowns are scary.
You're not gonna have words. He knows I hate clowns. You gotta hate them. I hate them all.
The makeup, the crazy hair, the soulless eyes, it doesn't matter that they're supposed to make us laugh, they end up being pretty scary.
What's the matter, kid? Don't you like clowns? Why? Don't we make you laugh? Aren't we fucking funny?
So, it should come as no surprise that horror movies use clowns a lot as evil villains, and really, what's scarier than an evil clown? So we're going to start off with not one but two honorable mentions, both of them from the year 2012. Stitches the Clown from the movie Stitches, and Emmett the Clown from the horror anthology Scary or Die. So let's start off with Stitches. To be completely honest, I didn't really find it to be anything all that special. Basically, a clown gets brought back to life for vengeance after getting accidentally killed at a children's party. It's a slightly above average slasher film with way more comedy than you expect. You know, despite this film containing a clown. It's worth a watch, and the humor really is some of the strongest parts of the movie.
Where do you think you're going?
And also, Stitches gets extra points for inflicting some clown-on-clown violence. Overall, I don't really think I enjoyed this film as much as some other people did, but fans of horror comedy should definitely check it out.
Woof woof.
So Scary or Die is a horror anthology with 5 different short films that's not all that great. I mean, I found it to be a lot of fun, but that doesn't make it good, per se. In one of the segments, a drug dealer named Emmett gets bitten by a clown called Fucko and starts turning into a clown himself.
Face. My skin was changing.
Yeah, like, I'm not making this up. This guy actually turns into a were-clown, and the clown that bit him, his name really is Fucko. Emmett starts transforming into a flesh-eating clown, and even he delivers some clown-on-clown violence. Which is of course a good thing. The thing is, as ludicrous as this scenario is, that's kinda what lifts it up. You got a character trying to get back to his family, but who is slowly turning into a flesh-eating monster against his will. It's that very little element of tragedy that elevates it a bit, and also he just looks fucking terrifying. I mean, imagine this guy showing up at your birthday party. Alright, so with the honorable mentions out of the way, let's start with a real list. We're gonna kick it off with the number 5 spot, which goes to Gertie the Clown from a 2007 film, 100 Tears. So this is a lesser known film that many of you probably haven't heard of, seeing as it's basically an indie horror film with a budget of around $75,000, which in movie making terms is fucking nothing. It's about a circus clown who gets accused of crimes he didn't actually commit. After this, he vows revenge on those who wrongfully accused him, and he just so happens to snap psychologically a couple years later, going on a killing spree. And that's basically where the story ends, more or less. And to be fair, it's not really that good of a movie. But what puts it on the list is the fact that they seem to have put the entire budget on special effects, as this film is insanely violent and gory. Yeah, really, you could make a drinking game out of insanely violent deaths and you'd be completely wasted halfway through the movie. Gorehounds can be damn sure they'll get their money's worth because the body count in this is well over 30 and extremely bloody. I mean, I actually lost count. The film itself is basically just pure splatter from beginning to end, and neither acting or story is particularly strong, though let's face it, this is not a film you watch for the story. To be fair, this isn't really a movie to watch at all unless you like blood. Really, Gertie doesn't have all that much of a personality, but he does look creepy, and after all, an insane clown with no limits and an enormous meat cleaver, that's pretty damn terrifying and well worth a number 5 spot on this list. So, with that out of the way, that brings us to the number 4 spot, which is occupied by Horny the Clown from a 2007 film, Drive-Thru. So this film is about a killer fast food mascot butchering teens. You know, just like smoking, junk food kills, but I never thought that it was done by a magical clown.
Fast food kills, fucker.
Now, as ridiculous and absurd as this concept is, I think Horny looks pretty damn good with his blank expression, which adds to a lot of creepiness factor. And also, I don't know if it's just me, but I always found mascots really creepy in themselves, clown or not. And you gotta give him points for axing off some wannabe gangsters early on.
Yo, Tony! Yo, I ain't playing. So whoever's up in here better chill. I'm gonna bust a cap in his ass.
All in all, this isn't a particularly great film, although really a lot of the films on this list aren't. It's pretty standard in many ways, but Horny the Clown manages to slash his way to the number 4 spot with his blank expression, killer instinct, and the fact that he's a freaky ass mascot. Alright, so that brings us to the number 3 spot, and this list is giving me clown chills. So let's get right to it. This goes to Pennywise from the 1990 TV movie It. So this might surprise a lot of you, not being on the number 1 spot at all, but let me get to that. The film, which is 3 damn hours long, and based on a book by Stephen King, is about a group of old friends brought back to their childhood home in Maine after the children start disappearing. This seems to be the work of a child-eating demon clown Pennywise that terrorized them during their youth. Pennywise is played by the consistently entertaining Tim Curry.
Aren't you going to say hello?
And an interesting fact is that the rest of the cast were so freaked out by him that they actually stayed away from him on set when they could. Alright, so let me just address the number 3 spot and clear some controversy. Pennywise is great yet, but Curry is even better, as the clown himself kind of gets less and less creepy as the movie goes on, and he's kind of tame compared to some of the other clowns on this list. Don't get me wrong, there are plenty of really creepy clown moments, especially early on in the film.
And when you're down here with me, you float down!
But he's also just flat out silly sometimes.
Do you have Prince Albert in a can? You do? Well, you better let the poor guy out!
I get the clowns always have that humor element, but it's just a little too overdone here to the point where it makes Pennywise less scary. I mean, he's probably the most iconic evil clown ever, and I'd say rightfully so, especially with Tim Curry's amazingly energetic performance. But does that make him the scariest clown? Well, I'd say no, but he's still up there.
Oh, come on, Bucko.
Alright, so I hope the fans of Pennywise the Clown didn't take that placement too hard, but fuck! Alright, I guess I kinda should have seen that coming. Anyway, the number 2 spot goes to The Laugh from the 2008 film Amusement. In another film that's divided up into segments, we get one of the most underrated evil killer clowns ever from a film that really isn't that underrated in itself. The movie is about a deranged killer with a grudge against 3 women that stretches all the way back to her childhood. Alright, so I know I've said this about a couple movies on this list, but let me stress that this movie really isn't that great, but The Clown, holy shit, The Clown. Those of you who have seen this movie know exactly what I'm talking about and why this is on the number 2 spot. In the film, one of our heroines returns to her aunt's house where her young cousins are.
Hello, it's Tabitha, the Carmine's niece.
The babysitter that was hired is mysteriously gone, and our heroine discovers a huge room filled with clown things, including a life-size doll, which turns out to be more than a doll. The entire presentation of a clown and the way it's shot is surprisingly good and feels like it belongs in a better movie. Amusement is in itself kind of messy, but the clown is handled really damn well and is genuinely creepy and frightening.
I'm looking right at it. Tabitha.
It's a case where the villain is much better than the actual film itself, and despite the name, this is definitely not a clown that will make you laugh. Alright, so that brings us to the much anticipated number 1 spot that none of you have been looking forward to, and it goes to Frowny the Clown from the Eli Roth film Clown from 2014. Who knew that it was possible to make a killer clown film on a low budget that is this surprisingly good?
Over the centuries, the legend of the clown was forgotten. He became the clown. His white face and red nose to make people laugh, to entertain children. If only they knew.
This film is produced by horror staple Eli Roth, who you probably know as the director of Hostel. He even plays the clown itself in its final form. So you're probably thinking, Sebastian, you handsome bastard, what do you mean final form? Well, let's get to that. The film starts off at a children's party where the clown that is hired for entertainment cancels last minute.
The Party Emporium people screwed up and there's no clown coming. I thought you had a backup.
Who double books a clown?
The father finds an old clown suit and steps up to fill in. However, when he wakes up the following day after falling asleep in the clown suit, he can't get it off. But this is no ordinary clown suit. This is actually the skin of a North European demon. So the father starts to change and gets really weird urges, hunger urges. Fearing for his family, he moves away and gets into contact with the previous owner of the suit. The father can't stop changing and even tries to kill himself, but the cloyne demon has already started infecting him and turning him into a monster, a really terrifying one. So what's scarier than an evil demonic clown? Well, how about an evil killer demonic clown with a taste for children? Yeah, it gets that dark. Similar to Scary or Die, the element of tragedy goes a long way to make it even darker, and the clown itself just looks menacing as all hell. To me anyway, this is the scariest killer clown out there because he just looks like Satan's jester and goes right after your offspring. The massacre at Chuck E. Cheese is awesomely awful, and believe it or not, the film's poster was even censored in Italy for being deemed too frightening. Yeah, that's right, Italy, a country known for really graphic exploitation movies, they censored the poster. So this is a surprisingly well-made film that, despite a noticeably low budget, manages to accomplish pretty much everything it sets out to do, and the fact that the only way to get rid of this demon clown curse is to eat 5 children makes this one creepy-ass clown that'll be sure to haunt your nightmares, as well as the #1 spot on this list. Alright, so that about does it for this episode of Sci-Fi-Night Top 5. We hope you enjoyed it. If you've got a different list of evil killer clowns that has Pennywise on the #1 spot, by all means let us know how shitty tasting clowns I have in the comments section below. However, before you get to the comment section, be sure to click the like and subscribe button to help out the show and stay updated with it. And as always, I'm your host, Sebastian Little Martinez. We'll catch you guys next time.
Who are you?
I'm Kent, the realtor. I talked to Miguel. I'm sorry, are you Miguel?
Why are you dressed like a clown?
You guys have kids?